from the Big Apple, a short drive from Lower Manhattan, brings you to the Bronx and the New Era Pinstripe Bowl, all part of Capital One Bowl Mania. The Miami Hurricanes and Mark Richt trying to close their season with a win against the Badgers of Wisconsin here at the home of the 27-time world champion New York Yankees. We welcome you to Yankee Stadium and the New Era Pinstripe Bowl. Now, there is a reason that people live in Miami, and we're looking at it right here. In the Bronx, feels like 34 degrees. Madison, Wisconsin, a balmy 40 right now. And in Miami, 78 degrees. See how home the Hurricanes feel here in the Big Apple. Hi again, everyone. Bob Wischusen here with Mike Golick Jr., Dan Orlovsky, and if Golick Jr., Orlovsky, and Wischusen are not enough syllables for you, Paul Carcaterra will join us from the field in just a moment. This is a really interesting matchup. It's an Orange Bowl rematch from last season. Two teams that began the year in the top 10 of the AP poll. We're hoping for the playoff. This is a really nice consolation prize, this game.
Yeah, I mean, these are two storied programs with rich histories and great brand names. And no, they did not get the win total that they wanted this year, but they end the season in a bowl game. An opportunity to kick off 2019 and maybe see some stars of the future.
Exactly. That's what this bowl games end up being really about. And on Wisconsin's side, the future looks pretty bright in the hands of your Doak Walker Award winner and Jonathan Taylor. The guy 11 yards shy of 2,000 on this young season. And it's been impressive to watch. A guy who's going to surprise you with his speed, has the vision to go inside and find holes amongst the giants on this Wisconsin offensive line. It's a running back's dream, and he's turned it into quite a reality for Wisconsin this season.
That's a future first-round pick, and he is running behind several other future first-round picks. Now, that Wisconsin offensive line has to deal with, statistically speaking, one of, if not the best defenses in college football.
Yeah, guys, when you put Miami on tape, it becomes clear quickly that they are college football playoff caliber unit. They're incredibly fast and physical to the football, led by one of the nation's best linebacker units. And watch what happens when we get into 3rd and longs tonight. They're going to come after you with crazy pressures and try to force you into mistakes.
We'll see if that turnover chain makes an appearance for Manny Diaz. This is his last game on the sideline as the defensive coordinator for the Canes. His next stop, Temple. He will be the Owls' new head coach after the New Era Pinstripe Bowl. And Paul Carcaterra, the mystery this week was who was going to be at quarterback for the Canes.
Well, quarterback N'Kosi Perry has actually been a bright spot for Miami's offense, a unit that struggled at times, but his status was up in the air this week due to an inappropriate post on one of his social media accounts. After Miami's win over Toledo on September 15th, a sexually explicit video was posted on Perry's Snapchat account. That video resurfaced among Miami students last week. N'Kosi Perry is not suspended for this game, and he will suit up. But it's Malik Rozier. He'll make his 7th start, the senior, this season. His first since November 3rd when Miami lost to Duke. So, gentlemen, it's the quarterback carousel for the Canes continues.
Well, it's going to be the offense for Wisconsin that's out there first, and they'll have very good field position at their own 35-yard line as Bubba Baxa hooks the first kick of the game out of bounds. So we'll get an opportunity to see Jonathan Taylor, and we'll have to wait to see Malik Rozier. And we're going to try to get the referee microphone straightened out. Alex Hornibrook not able to make the start at quarterback for Wisconsin. Jack Cohn from Sayville High School in Sayville, New York, right on the south shore of Long Island, only about an hour away from the Bronx, in front of a lot of friends and family, as Jonathan Taylor lined up in the out. And they'll go to Taylor on first down. He's got plenty of room and drives for a Wisconsin first down, a gain of 11. And Dan, what do you see from Jack Cohn?
I actually like his game. Now, here's the big thing for him. He's got to be very efficient on 1st and 2nd down, but that's Wisconsin's kind of MO. Move the pocket around for him a little bit. He's probably more athletic than Alex Hornibrook, so I expect Joe Rudolph, the offensive coordinator, to utilize him on the edges a little bit tonight, Bob.
And that first carry of the game for Jonathan Taylor gets him to an even 2,000 yards on the season. He's got it again. And he is tough to bring down, Mike. 7.5 yards on first down.
It really is, and that's a quarterback's best friend. If you're looking for a guy under center who's continuing to try and get traction, rely on this offense, rely on your center, Tyler Biadasz, who's as veteran as they come, who's going to make all the calls for a group that comes into this game and came into this season with a ton of starts and experience and a lot of hardware to go along with it.
A combined 189 starts on that offensive line coming into tonight. Taylor again. He's got another first down. Spins down close to the 35-yard line of the Canes before Jaquan Johnson brings him down after a 10-yard gain.
You know, interesting because Miami's Gerald Willis is not playing in this game. All-American D tackle. And what we've seen to start this game for Wisconsin is they're going right down the heart of the Miami defensive line, knowing Willis is out. Let's test the new guys.
And this is one of the great differences from last year, that matchup in the Orange Bowl. A lot of zone runs for Wisconsin. They're a gap run team, and they're putting it on display on this initial drive.
Number 99, Joe Jackson, just limped off the field for Miami. Although there's a tackle for loss as Taylor goes down, brought down behind the line by Michael Pinckney.
This is one of the best linebacker crews in all the country. Quarterman does an awesome job of getting through the kind of underneath the pads of the offensive line, driving through that tackle. These guys can play sideline to sideline, get up into the line of scrimmage. 126 tackles for the loss for this defense. That's the key for tonight. Wisconsin's offense so good at being positive on first down. Miami's defense great at setting you behind those chains.
Zone read to Garrett Groshek. Picked up about 2, so now it's 3rd down and long.
And Dan, Wisconsin masters of the obvious here. You see most of these situations, they thrive on big numbers. 7.4 yards per rush attempt on first down usually keeps them in front of the chains. Now at 3rd and long, this is where Miami's defense gets its first real chance to shine.
Listen, you do not want to be in 3rd and long. Miami's going to get up into the line of scrimmage with a bunch of different bodies. I mean, you'll see it right here. Look at all these bodies right there. There's 6, 7 guys at the line of scrimmage. What's your protection look like?
3rd down and 9. Called to throw for the first time. Wide open, sitting in the zone is Kendrick Pryor, and he ends up in the end zone. A 35-yard touchdown to start on a 3rd and 9 call for the Badgers.
Well, that start will work for Jack Cohn. Don't get in 3rd and 8 unless you want to throw a touchdown. Great job out of the offensive line, picking up some kind of internal pressure. Cohn doing a nice job of holding that free safety and then delivering a strike to Pryor between those linebackers and safeties.
Wisconsin's got the early 7-0 lead. 3rd touchdown receiving this year for Kendrick Pryor.
Cohn did a nice job of using his eyes, finding Pryor, and how about him finishing to get Wisconsin's offense up early, 7-0.
An early 7-0 lead, Dan, for Wisconsin, and a good start for Jack Cohn.
Yeah, very comfortable there. They got running the ball early, right at Miami's defense, testing the interior of that defensive line. But let's watch this safety right here, okay? And that receiver is going to run kind of an interior clear route or seam route, but I love Jack Cohn's eyes. He's going to stare red wine to the receiver, and that's what frees up Kendrick Pryor across the middle.
Johnson kicked down to DJ Dallas. He gets down the sideline. Out of bounds close to the 30-yard line. So our first opportunity to see Malik Rozier as he takes over for N'Kosi Perry. Again, Perry not suspended for the game. He is in uniform, but he's a backup quarterback, and it's the 5th-year senior who last season was able to break Vinny Testaverde's touchdowns responsible for record at Miami. The record that Vinny set back in '86 when he won the Heisman. Rozier with only 6 touchdown passes so far this year, and he goes to the air to begin. And he throws an interception on the first snap of the game. Jumps the first pass thrown by Malik Rozier.
So these receivers up top are going to run switch releases, okay? And Wisconsin sees that that's what they want to do. And that receiver is reading Burrell, the safety. If he plays high, you want to run by him. If he squats, if he plays high, you want to sit it down. If he squats, you want to run by him. But here's my thing. Wisconsin defensively knows that's what Miami wants to do when they run that switch release. It's very difficult, quarterback receiver, being on that same page.
Just like that, it's 1st and goal, Badgers. Taylor. Touchdown.
Guys, there are 3 two-time first-team All-American offensive linemen in the history of Wisconsin Story program. The last one before Bo Benshaw was Joe Thomas, so pretty good company, and
What did
good
he do?
idea
Did
to run right behind him.
Joe Thomas do anything after Wisconsin? Was he any good?
It was bad.
Okay.
You might have run into him once or twice.
Good player, man.
A 2-touchdown lead for the Badgers. No one has hurt their opponent more often taking the ball away than Miami. Well, turnabout is fair play as Rozier throws a pick.
Yeah, turnovers matter, but really what you do with them. Wisconsin gets the pick off the interception. Finishing run for Jonathan Taylor. 14-0 Wisconsin.
And there's Jonathan Taylor, the Doak Walker Award winner, scoring from 7 yards out a moment ago. Let's see if Miami can now respond down by 2 touchdowns. Bob Schuzen with Mike Golick Jr. and Orlovsky and Paul Carcaterra at the stadium. DJ Dallas will take a knee. A keeper for Rozier. The whip, the fake works to perfection. And Malik Rozier off to the races. All the way down to the 30-yard line of Wisconsin before he's finally brought down. A gain of 62.
You know, that's the downsides defensively is when you want to play man. Wisconsin got 5 guys across the line of scrimmage, played man coverage on the back end. Nobody accounted for Rozier. Scott Nelson follows the back and a huge run for the quarterback.
Rozier with a screen out to Brevin Jordan, the freshman tight end. And he dives for a would-be 1st down. Right at the line to gain, and it looks to be good enough. Brevin needs to move the chains.
Brevin Jordan's an impressive player, too, and one of the many guys they can get on the edges with and win, and that's where you want to win if you're Miami. You've got an athletic advantage over most of the guys on this defense. Exploit it on the edges here. Put these linebackers in some conflict positions.
Ooh, good work.
How quickly did this game turn around? DJ Dallas to the 15-yard line. Stop made by TJ Edwards after a gain of 5.
DJ Dallas, I'm telling you, you mentioned Brevin Jordan. Another guy that they need to get the ball to in space, whether it's in a matchup man-to-man. DJ Dallas is the same kind of player. Explosive, laterally quick, not limited to just handing it off to him. You can throw him some screens, get him out there in the pass game. We continuously talk about the young talent that is all over this Miami offense.
DJ Dallas nowhere to go on 2nd down. And now we'll see what Jim Leonard dies up on 3rd down and about 6.5. This is where he likes to get funky with some of the pressures he'll bring after an opposing quarterback.
Funky is the word. You know, Jim Leonard, the defensive coordinator for Wisconsin, comes from the Rex Ryan NFL tree where they're going to show you a bunch of different guys at the line of scrimmage. 5 guys, 6 guys, 7 guys. The thing that I love about it, he finds out what your protection is, and he attacks that protection. He's going to know that Miami wants to slide some guys. He's going to try to get a guy one-on-one with DJ Dallas on the edge.
Wisconsin shows blitz. They'll rush 4. Rozier floating one towards the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Darrell Langham. And it will be a field goal attempt for Bubba Baxa to try to get UM on the board.
I'll tell you, Caesar Williams, number 21 for Wisconsin, did an awesome job there of utilizing the sideline as his friend. He really kind of pushes Cager out towards the sideline, forces him to step out of bounds. If it was complete, it didn't matter because the physicality playing corner as a squat 2, cover 2 corner right there forces him out of bounds. Well done.
33 yards out for the true freshman. Bubba Baxa with a line drive that gets Miami on the board. 14-3. Wisconsin's got the lead. Baxa hooks the kickoff towards the sideline again. Just snuck it inside the pylon for a touchback. Almost kicked it out of bounds again. Taiwan Deal to the edge, and he's close to a first down. So we've seen all three Wisconsin tailbacks already, and all three have been effective.
And we talked about, obviously, the Wisconsin offensive line is going to get a bunch of pub, but you don't rush for 2,000 yards on a season if you don't have tight ends and fullbacks that are working. And if you want to see some carnage, follow Alec Ingold around the field. Him and Jake Ferguson both getting on the edge and staying with their blocks. Blocking longer downfield ends up springing these big runs.
They run right behind the fullback, and there's Deal into the secondary. He's got a first down easily for Wisconsin. And Mike, what is it about Wisconsin that creates this culture where these offensive linemen, many of them walk-ons, unheralded, unrecruited, under-recruited certainly players, end up going to Madison and becoming All-American?
It's the culture in the room, and it almost ends up becoming like a running joke. But these guys and the rest of the team see them everywhere together. You travel on almost a herd, so much so that if you find yourself on a Thursday at a Red Robin near Wisconsin's campus, chances are you will see them 5 wide in a booth pounding thousands of calories worth of cheeseburgers and fries.
Very wide, indeed. Taiwan Deal for close to 6 more yards. And that takes us down to the end of the first quarter. At the line of scrimmage, certainly dominated by Wisconsin, but Miami on the strength of a 62-yard run by Malik Rozier after the Jaquan Johnson interception breathes a little life back into the new era Pinstripe Bowl. It's Wisconsin scoring the game's first 14 points. They've got a 14-3 lead after 1. Welcome back to Yankee Stadium. Bob Wischusen here with Mike Golick Jr., Dan Orlovsky, Paul Carcaterra for the new era Pinstripe Bowl, set for the start of the second quarter. And a domination at the line of scrimmage for Wisconsin in the first quarter. 18 offensive plays, 16 runs, and 122 yards rushing already. And why not keep it on the ground with Jonathan Taylor? He's tripped up behind the line on second down and 4. Shaq Quarterman came through to make the stop. So now Miami has forced a third down.
And one of the coaching points you're always taught in the double teams that we mentioned with Wisconsin's offensive line is take the down guy to the linebacker, put him right in his lap. Well, with Shaq Quarterman, they're getting him right up by the line of scrimmage and getting him a chance to work one-on-one in an athletic mismatch against these guards. As good as they are, they can't stack up with a guy like him, darting into the backfield and making a play that puts them in a great spot.
Miami with a 5-man rush on third down. Right at the first down line to gain is A.J. Taylor. And he's got it. Needed 5, picked up 6.
Miami came after Jack Cohn with some pressure. One, I love the young kid standing in there. He knows the edge pressure is coming. Here comes Red Wine, stand in there. And then how about the job of A.J. Taylor coming back to the quarterback, a little friendly. Don't let that DB undercut you, protect that ball. Beautiful job by the young quarterback, seeing the pressure and making that throw.
And a pretty nice throw with anticipation,
yep.
too. That ball was right on Taylor when his eyes turned towards Cohn.
Absolutely.
Delayed handoff to Taylor. Finds a cutback lane. And moves the pile just about to the first down line to gain.
And this is where the Wisconsin offensive line has to get back to doing what they do. We've seen them get in trouble the last couple of drives, getting behind the chains. And for all the exotics of Miami's defense, it's about one thing, just getting one guy to win. That's the most frustrating part. For offensive line, you've got to have 5 guys on the same play, on the same page to make one play work. On the D-line, you just need one guy to get a win, and all of a sudden you've busted this game wide open.
Taylor breaking tackles. In from behind. Down close to the 22-yard line. That's 10 more for Jonathan Taylor.
You mentioned behind the chains, right? Like, what does that really mean? What it means is, like, you really want to be in 2nd and 6, 3rd and 3. When you get behind those 10-yard chain markers, you're in 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13. A good play there, 6 yards, is still going to leave you at 3rd and 6 and 3rd and 7, you know? So staying in front of that chain marker is a big deal for Wisconsin's offense. That's why their offense is lined so good. When they have those efficient plays, they have efficient drives.
Taylor again, and this time he's bottled up and brought down for a loss. Jonathan Garvin was the first cane there, but he got some help from Pat Bethel. It's another tackle for loss for Miami. It'll be 2nd and 13.
Garvin doing a nice job on the edges, kind of popping off the line of scrimmage, having discipline with his eyes, and then doing a good job of bringing Taylor down. But this is that perfect example of behind the chains, because as a Wisconsin offense, if you get 6 yards here, you feel great, right? But you're then going to be in 3rd and 7, and this is exactly where Miami wants to be.
They want the screen to the tight end, Jake Ferguson. He gets to the 21-yard line, so it will be 3rd down and a long 8.
This one's close because Miami comes after him with some pressure. Silvera does an awesome job. He's looping out left anyway because the pressure's coming from his right. If he doesn't make that tackle, Ferguson might score. So a nice job by the defensive lineman.
And now we've got that 3rd down for Miami, and we've seen them shifting on a couple of these last series, trying to force that Wisconsin offensive line and Cone to communicate a little bit more before the snap and see if they can get that one free rusher off, making them adjust.
It's really been feast or famine. Wisconsin has run for 143 yards, and Miami has 7 tackles for loss at the same time. And they'll bring a big blitz here on 3rd down. End zone throw incomplete, in traffic for Cone as he was trying to find Ferguson running the seam route at the goal line. So it will be another field goal attempt for Gaglianone.
And this challenges your eye discipline, Dan.
Yeah, here comes all these guys coming off the pressure. You want to watch this go route and this seam. Those are going to be the guys that are going to come open. The safety's going to roll over the top. You're going to have that seam and then that go route on the top. So Cone, understand those pressures that are coming. Where's the weakness in the secondary? That's something he's going to go to the sideline and learn from. Nice job by Miami's defense getting off the field.
Gaglianone missed from 41. This one from 39, and this one's no good. Another big-time stop by the Miami defense as Gaglianone's 0 for 2. Wisconsin comes away empty.
And listen, West Virginia's still got weapons on the outside. Receivers, 3 guys that are probably going to play in the NFL. That'll be a great game to watch.
Travis Homer brought down behind the line. He has nowhere to go. Chris Orr leads the charge for the Badgers.
Dan, it's never good when you see an offensive lineman running outside to nobody, and Devon Donaldson, who's one of their better offensive linemen, a young guy, you see right there that color flash underneath. You've got to be tracking the backer that you're pulling for there. I understand you want to pull around and be aware, but we've all got a guy to block, and when you see him undercutting and you're doing nothing, those are the kind of negative plays you end up with.
Ever have one of those moments where you look over your shoulder with a little, oh no, I guess I was supposed to block one of those guys?
Few too many, that's why I'm here with you guys.
2nd down and 12. Rozier off play action, steps up, looks for a check down. Homer makes the catch, but he's brought down right at the line. This time it's T.J. Edwards, and it's 3rd down and 12.
Dude, T.J. Edwards is fun to watch. First of all, Gags misses the field goal for Wisconsin. The first guy running out on the field telling everybody let's go was T.J. Edwards. It doesn't matter to him. He wants to go play ball, but a guy that can run sideline to sideline, incredibly productive, physical player, had an awesome, awesome career.
Gags, his roommate, too, a guy that he's been rooming with since freshman year, so going out and making sure he's got his buddies back in a tough spot.
Here comes some Wisconsin pressure up front. See if Miami can handle it.
It's picked up nicely, and there goes Rozier. He's going to pick up the 1st down and more. Takes on a tackler. Rozier runs over Faion Hicks and picks up 20.
Dan's got a lot of those on the resume, don't you, Dan?
Well, watch. They pop Van Ginkel out, okay? And so he's going to go into coverage. It's a zone blitz. They leave the left side uncovered. Nobody's got responsibility outside. Good job by Rozier seeing it. Van Ginkel leaves, you replace him.
And as going against a mobile quarterback, you've got to honor those rush lanes.
You're not going to find a more mobile quarterback than me.
That was always the scouting report, wasn't it?
You were nimble around the media buffet, I'll give you that. Travis Homer, lost the football. Wisconsin thinks they have a takeaway. And they do. Van Ginkel in on the stop to knock it out. And Homer coughs it up. TJ Edwards comes away with the recovery. Third turnover for the Canes.
This is something that has haunted Miami all year. These fumbles by their most reliable players. Now, I don't know.
It didn't look like he ever had a hold of it. He lost it on the mesh. That wasn't anything that Van Ginkel did. You can see him right there slowing down, trying to get a hold of that football.
And he might not have had possession, so the knee down doesn't even matter, because if he never secured it, you're right, Mike, that handoff transition, the little things, haunting Miami's offense right now. And for Wisconsin, I know there's 2 minutes on the clock, but you're okay. Run your offense.
Taylor. A lane to the sideline. Inside the 30-yard line, out of bounds. At the 28, picks up 13.
And watch the center on this play. Tyler Biadasz, the guy who doesn't get a ton of love in this offense with some of the other big names, but you're going to see him pulling around the perimeter. It's a great wrinkle, gets enough of that linebacker. Again, that's all you need with a running back as quick as Jonathan Taylor going through the hole.
109 yards here in the first half for Jonathan Taylor. So that is his 12th 100-yard game this season. He's got 7 career 200-yard games. So we're still in the first half. He's comfortably on his way to a 200-yard evening. He gets the call here, but it's another tackle for loss for the Miami defense. They get him for a loss of 2.5. And it's Odenigbo again. That's the 3rd time he's been in the backfield. Play action for Cohn. Middle screen to the tight end, Ferguson. How nicely designed was that play? And it's down to about the 20-yard line, makes it 3rd manageable.
You talk about misdirection. Okay, so we're going to bring speed sweep motion that way, fake the handoff that way, and then you're going to leak Ferguson in the middle. So you're giving all these linebackers, okay, I got a guy going to my left, now I got another guy going to my right, leak Ferguson into that screen. That's beautiful play design by Paul Chryst and Joe Rudolph, their offensive coordinator for Wisconsin. Man, I love that. I loved it.
Cohn underneath, incomplete. Intended for Danny Davis. And this is probably not in Gaglianone's field goal range on this field. This might be a punt. And it would be another unbelievable stop for the defense of Miami with 33 seconds to go in the half.
I would have, listen, Wisconsin really just tried, that was a screen pass to Danny Davis, try to get a completion, keep the clock running. I don't mind this from Paul Chryst right now, like 4th and 17, your chances of getting it are minimal. Make Miami run an offensive play, kick it down there. Miami assumingly will take a knee and go to the half.
Yeah, avoid the disaster. Like you said, Miami's defense majors in causing disaster in these kinds of downs and distances.
So Anthony Lottie to DJ Dallas, and DJ Dallas faked the fair catch. It was a dangerous play. Not sure what he thought he was going to be able to create inside his own 20-yard line. They'll run it with Travis Homer. He's got 5 yards, and it looks like Miami will be content to head to the locker room at halftime, down by only 11 in spite of giving it away 3 times, twice deep in their own end. And their defense getting stops.
The defense has really kept them in the ball game, and that's been the story for really the great majority of their season. Their defense is what allowed them to win 7 games. Need to make some halftime adjustments. I think they need to take a shot downfield early on in the second half.
We'll wait and see. Maybe we get a look at N'Kosi Perry in the second half, who we know is dressed and ready to go tonight. Maybe he gets a shot with the offense a little stagnant right now.
Well, the Miami defense did everything that they could dealing with the sudden change to keep their team in it, as the offense gives it away 3 times, including on the first offensive snap of the game by Malik Rozier, an interception, 1 of 2 he threw. And Wisconsin's got the 14-3 lead. Down to Paul.
Coach, Miami statistically second nationally. Where have you been most successful in the first half on offense?
Well, you know, we've taken advantage. We did a decent job first series running the ball, and you know, we just got to be better taking advantage of the takeaways we're getting. You know, we're not finishing, and you know, obviously we're struggling on the field goals, and we had the turnover in the red zone. There's a lot we got to do better. I like the way the guys are playing, but we just got to be more consistent.
Your quarterback, Jack Cohn, is making his 4th career start. How would you assess his play?
Well, I thought that, you know, first pass, the touchdown to KP, obviously that was good protection, and you know, thought he made a play down here where he didn't need to try to make something in it, and so I think that, you know, he's done some good things. We got to be better, and I think just overall we got to take advantage. Our defense is playing well right now. You know, we gave up a couple big runs, but you know, we've been doing a pretty good job, and we, you know, obviously we know we're going to be challenged a lot in the second half here.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
All right, Clark, thanks very much. In just a moment, it's the halftime report with Reese Davis, David Pollack, and Jonathan Vilma from Miami after the break. And we welcome you back to the new era Pinstripe Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania here in the city that never sleeps at Yankee Stadium. It was quite a first half for Wisconsin. They dominated statistically in almost every category except the scoreboard. They've got an 11-point lead. Could have been a lot worse. Bob Wischusen here with Mike Golick Jr., Dan Orlovsky. Paul Carcaterra will join us from down on the field in just a moment. Miami, their defense did everything they possibly could to keep them in the game. They got to get something going offensively.
I mean, only 21 plays right now, Miami, for their offense. The big thing, protect the football. Malik Rozier and their staff got to find a way to get these young, talented guys. Wisconsin's playing man-to-man defense on them. Help their young, talented receivers on the outside get off press and maybe push the ball downfield early in this second half.
Now, that running game got going in the first quarter. Not as effective in the second quarter for Wisconsin.
No, we saw Miami's defense show up in the backfield the way they have all season long, and it got Wisconsin to the one place it didn't want to be offensively tonight. 3rd and medium to long, where all of a sudden those exotic pressures have come out, and we've seen Jack Cohn struggle a little bit. Dan, you brought it up before the game. Let's see if maybe they can move the pocket a bit for him in the second half, take advantage of that athleticism, and try and mitigate some of that Miami pass rush.
The Canes will start the third quarter with the ball. They only put together one drive for the most part in the first half that got them the field goal. As we take a look at our first half stats, brought to you by Serve Pro. 14-3 lead for Wisconsin. 220 total yards. Those 3 giveaways should have cost the Canes a lot more than they did.
Yeah, huge. They were very careless with the football. Malik Rozier making 2 bad decisions and then a homer fumble. And like you said, Bob, this game could have been even more out of hand. But listen, it's the second half. You get a chance to reset. Let's see if you can get a drive going. Plays. Open up the playbook. And Wisconsin's going to challenge you in man-to-man. Someone's got to win.
Travis Homer spins out to the 26-yard line for a gain of a yard. Cart.
This very minute, the plan is to stick with Malik Rozier. That's what Mark Richt just told me. So, gentlemen, it sounds like a bit of a short leash for the 5th-year senior quarterback. Defensively, though, Mark Richt is thrilled. He said after that first drive, they've really been able to settle in and play some big-time defense, specifically on the defensive line. He spoke about Tito Adenigbo, who's played great in his first start here.
Here's a shot down the sideline. Laying out is Mike Harley. Or check that high tower. And the freshman couldn't haul it in as Malik Rozier led him by just a hair. It'll be 3rd down.
This is the shot downfield. They try to get a double move with Hightower. Right on Hicks. And that's what you need to hit. You're struggling on offense. You've been on 3rd and longs. You've only run 21 plays this half. Here's your shot. Downfield, perfect play call and the double move. Malik Rozier has to hit that throw.
And that was the one thing, one of the few things this offense has been missing, a completion to a wide receiver.
Four-man rush on 3rd and 9. Rozier, back shoulder attempt, and it is on time to Lawrence Cager. There is the first reception of the game by a Miami wide receiver, and it's a big 3rd down conversion for the Canes.
It's really similar to the first play of the game. It's that switch release. Cager's going to go outside and just use his big body. A little bit of a shove there on Wild Goose, but use his big body like a hoops player. Go up. Man, did they need that from a wide receiver, completion, and really for their offense.
behind Travis Homer, but a nice adjustment to the ball. He's able to grind out about 2 yards. Van Ginkel met him at the sideline.
Here would be my only thing. Yeah, nice third down conversion. I get that. I love it. But you're seeing Miami get in stationary formations and run very similar plays that, that switch release again. Wisconsin, yeah, it was a completion, but they were right there in coverage. I want to see them do more so it's easier on your receivers. Do more, easier on your quarterback. Help those guys get open, give them easier throws.
Another Wildcat snap. And DJ Dallas down to the 36-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
It's one of the toughest parts of football, too, is managing that sudden change. If you're the Miami defense, having that thrust upon you time after time and being able to answer the bell. For the other side, for Wisconsin's defense now here, they get a little dose of that off a big special teams play. And so you get a chance to dial something up on a 3rd and medium to long.
Yeah, but here's my thing. Now, hey, Malik Rozier, you haven't played in a bunch, and hey, let's get into 3rd and 6. Now go get us a first down. I just don't, it's not fair to the young man. Not that his plays warranted it, but it's not fair.
Rozier on a rollout. Throws another interception. TJ Edwards gets a hug from Chris Orr. Both linebackers on the interior of the Wisconsin defense have a pick of Malik Rozier in the Pinstripe Bowl.
This is just a young dude being a ball player, reading the quarterback's eyes. TJ Edwards running full speed. Ball in my face. Big pick for Wisconsin.
Some of the spots visited by the Canes and the Badgers this new era Pinstripe Bowl week. They rang the bell at the Stock Exchange a couple of days ago, and the stock market rebounded by 1,000 points. So you know what? Bring them back. They also visited the 9/11 Memorial. They went to the Freedom Tower, all down in lower Manhattan. And the latest interception of Malik Rozier by TJ Edwards. So it looks like N'Kosi Perry is up and warming up behind the Miami bench. Multiple inappropriate texts or inappropriate social media postings by N'Kosi Perry. With Mark Richt in a position where he didn't suspend Perry for the game, but did start Malik Rozier. But Rozier has now thrown 3 interceptions on 12 pass attempts. And the Canes might be making a quarterback switch. Here's Jonathan Taylor bouncing it outside. Turns the corner into Canes territory before he's brought down by Zach McLeod.
I love Wisconsin before the snap there, using the cadence as a bit of a weapon of its own, getting Miami to show its hand a little bit. So all of a sudden when you run that zone and you know where your defender's committing to, you can get to that landmark, get that hat in that outside position, because Jonathan Taylor's just looking, do I see color peeking at me? No, I'll keep on my outside track and I'll run for a great game.
Yeah, it's a great point, because when they used that cadence, you saw a couple guys up front point, right, hope my guy changed, I got that guy. Awesome communication.
Taylor breaking tackles. And there he goes, looking for the pylon. Out of bounds inside the 10, close to the 5. Sheldrick Redwine saved the touchdown. It's 1st and goal Badgers.
Here comes that motion again across the formation. Everybody's able to communicate. Ferguson wraps back. And Jonathan Taylor, great backs, run with eyes. There is no hole. He just feels where the defense flows and he reacts. Trusting his eyes on that run. Jonathan Taylor continues to have a special night behind really one of the best offensive lines in football in the creativity of motion.
Right up the middle. The 2-yard line. Quan Johnson, who only came back to Miami for a senior season after consulting Ed Reed. And Ed Reed said, you know what? Miami's a pretty good place to play football, and you're going to have some fun as a senior. You should absolutely go back.
Jaquan Johnson's a great player. He will be playing on Sundays. He is going to be an NFL draft pick because he can play high, deep middle of the field, man coverage, down in the box. Wisconsin's gone to 3 tight ends on offense. This is going to be a power run game, a little shift.
Counter handoff to Alec Ingold, and he's in for the touchdown. His 6th rushing touchdown of the season. So So Mike Golick Jr.'s favorite player in the history of football is able to score a touchdown.
Listen, there's not many guys that the O-line wants to invite to the cookout. The rest of you skinny kids can usually go off somewhere and find some kale. But the fullback is near and dear to the offensive line's heart. And this guy, you watched him work all night. We sit up here and marvel at this offensive line. But when you look at Ferguson, the tight end, and Ingold, and fullback, they've been building a wall on the backside of these runs. And you can hear the audible pop when that guy lays into someone. That time, a lot more quiet on the way to the end zone.
Wait, did you just say kale?
Oh, yeah. You're a big kale guy, aren't you?
He was looking right at you when he said it.
Lots
He
of
was looking
kale
at
in
me.
stores.
He was looking at me as a guy he'd invite to the
Not a
barbecue.
kale guy.
As now Wisconsin has opened up an 18-point lead with 3.5 minutes to go in the third. And this will be a touchback. So N'Kosi Perry does take over at quarterback for Malik Rocher. He's going to try and get the Canes back in the game. And Davis, the true freshman, tripped up shy of the 25-yard line by T.J. Edwards.
So, Dan, this is an interesting spot. Coming in the middle of the game right here, you were backup quarterback a lot towards the end of your career. This is a difficult spot. What do you need to do to go in and settle yourself early on here?
Well, big thing is try to bring energy, right? You've been flat on offense, so try to bring energy, and then you got to go trust your eyes. Right now, it's about trusting your eyes. Quarterbacking is a lot reactionary, and get the ball out of your hands for some completions early on.
He gets it quickly to Brevin Jordan on a minimal gain, so it will be 3rd and long.
Now you're asking a kid who's sat around for 2 hours in 35-degree weather, getting him into 3rd and 8, and so do you try and protect him? If I'm Jim Leonard for Wisconsin defensively, their D coordinator, I'm coming after you, and Mark Richt, what do you do as a play call on offense? I still trust that they got weapons on the outside. Do something, either one-on-one or get a screen. Don't force this kid into a bad situation right now.
False start.
You know, Wisconsin was just sitting there saying, hey, we're going to play man-to-man. We don't care if it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. Now, with this 5-yard penalty, they might back off and play a little bit more zone, and now you have to be very careful with N'Kosi Perry in your play call.
And that's an inexcusable mistake up front. You've got a backup quarterback coming in now who's been on the sideline like you mentioned. Everyone else has to ratchet up their intensity, and you try and use cadence to help out your quarterback, and you go and shoot yourselves in the foot on that play.
That will take us to the end of the 3rd quarter as Wisconsin, with 249 rushing yards, have opened up a 21-3 lead on Miami. As we head to the 4th, and Jonathan Taylor and that defense taking the ball away, and their big-time running back getting it done as well. Badgers with a big lead as we head to the 4th. Christmas colors atop the Empire State Building. And we're in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium. Wisconsin heads to the 4th quarter with a 21-3 lead over Miami. Bob Wischusen here with Dan Orlovsky, Mike Golick Jr. and Paul Carcaterra down on the sideline. They rush 4. Perry extending the play. O's off his back foot and throws an interception. The 5th turnover for the Canes offense. And this time it's Caesar Williams that gets the pitch.
And it's the same 3rd down that they just had. It's 4 verticals again out of that 3-by-1 set. Wisconsin's playing zone coverage. A little internal pressure moves Perry. And eyes on the quarterback. Now this is a bad mistake by a young quarterback. You can't throw late, across your body, down the middle. But I just don't know how much we're helping the quarterback.
And Bob just said it, you've got to try and make a play at this point, and I'm sure that's what N'Kosi Perry's thinking too, is I've got to buy time. I'm going to find someone open.
Is it a bad sign for a quarterback when 2 or 3 guys on defense are celebrating while the ball's in the air? Scott Nelson had 2 hands up like, you better believe that's about to be a pick. Here's Cohen. He's going to take a shot into double coverage towards the end zone. And he can't squeeze it into Kendrick Pryor. Good coverage from Michael Jackson.
How good is this by Michael Jackson, who hasn't been tested all night? Little inside seam by Pryor, and Jackson doing a nice job. Play that back hip, force the perfect throw over the top, and then get your head around at the last second. For a guy who has not had a ball thrown his way tonight, to not get lazy, to not get bored, play proper technique, that's another reason why Michael Jackson's going to be playing on Sundays in the NFL.
And down 18 in the fourth quarter, you see the pride of this unit on display. Manny Diaz told us this is a pack mentality. They hold each other accountable to this standard.
Inside the 30-yard line, down to the 29, goes Cone on a quarterback keeper. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
You know, Bob, it's funny that you mentioned that off the pick. Wisconsin on defense, guys are celebrating when the ball's in the air. Partly because they know the play that's coming. You know, partly because they're well coached and prepared, and Miami has been kind of showing what they want to do. Yeah, and so as a defense, when you know it's coming, for Wisconsin, 3rd down here, they're going to run the football. This could be 4-down territory for them right now. Motion Ferguson over, bring it back across the formation and lead him through.
Taylor, 1st down and more. Inside the 10-yard line before he's knocked out. They'll say he stepped out right after 10.
This is what they've done tonight. They bring Ferguson over. Either they cross him back across the formation, or they have all these guys leading in this zone run as Ferguson leads the way. Then Ingold leads the way, and Jonathan Taylor showing off that vision again, picking his spots, finding his hole, and then exploding through it.
Not to be outdone either by his counterpart in the fullback group, Mason Stockey there, taking 2 on that play, running right into one, bounces off of him, and he goes looking for more work right there. That's just the mentality. And then Jonathan Taylor, the reason guys like this are so much fun to block for is because they make you right in space. He's going to get a defender to lean. He's going to slow up just enough, make him miss.
Here he is again. This time driven back by Jaquan Johnson. But Jonathan Taylor with that last carry went over 200 yards for the 8th time in his career. This is his 27th career game. He's got over 100 yards 22 times. And now he's got over 200 yards 8 times.
Sophomore, a lot of ball left.
Through his first 2 years of college, coming into this game, an NCAA record 3,966 yards. The only other guys even over 3,500 in their first 2 years in college, Ron Dane and Herschel Walker. How's that for company?
Pretty good. Play action. Cone on a rollout and a walk-in. Another Wisconsin touchdown.
Wisconsin's playbook, that qualifies as a shot play, does it not?
That's a tutty. That's a shot play. Let's push the ball downfield with the naked. How about the play design, though? Last drive, shift into formation, little reverse out handoff. This time, same formation. Let's fake that handoff, and let's get Jack Cone on the edge. Wisconsin takes a huge lead.
If you're a college football fan, not only do you like Bucky Badger, but with a 28-3 lead for Wisconsin over Miami in the new era Pinstripe Bowl. First kickoff return opportunity for DJ Dallas, and he's got nowhere to go. Barely gets across the 10-yard line. All right, N'Kosi Perry, now you're down 28-3. Probably the coldest temperatures you've ever played football in. You got the ball at the 10-yard line.
Good luck.
Liam Neeson on the line.
He said it a little bit better.
He got close.
Quarterback draw. Nice run by N'Kosi Perry. He takes the contact out close to the 26-yard line before he's turned back. Gain of 16.
I think I actually heard a linebacker yell "yeet" down on the field. That was a shot at the end of the play. And I like this call because it's something that you know Perry does well and he's comfortable with. And that should be the conversation right now. What do you feel comfortable running going out on the field? But you also need to tell him to get down because you don't want him walking out of that game with any sort of extra shot lingering into his offseason.
Play action. Perry gets out of the pocket, looking downfield, throws one to the sideline, and well underthrown. Looking for Mark Pope, who was wide open, and Perry just couldn't reach him. Almost threw a pick to Scott Nelson.
They really want to try to get these 3 levels. You see receivers crossing the formation. It's not there. Don't make a mistake. I honestly believe this next 10 minutes, as we see Pope streaking down the field, but N'Kosi Perry wasn't able to get his feet set, nothing on the ball. These next 9 minutes for N'Kosi Perry are a big deal. I truly believe that heading into 2019, like, this is your chance to finish out this season the right way. Show us you got a chance to be our guy in 2019. These 9 minutes matter to you.
Another quarterback draw. And this time, right at the line of scrimmage, N'Kosi Perry is walloped. Might have lost a half yard. Now it's 3rd down and long.
And one thing we talked about earlier that makes it even tougher on a young quarterback coming in right now, who's usually your security blanket as a quarterback coming into the game? Your center. Your starting center's out tonight. So you've got Corey Gaynor, who's a backup, sliding into that spot. You've seen in the last few plays some confusion in the middle between the running back and the offensive line about who they're picking up. And so you've got a young quarterback being moved off of his spot because the group around him is in flux just as much as that position right now.
You see Perry up at the line of scrimmage right now. There's lack of communication. There's a little uncertainty. Now, Wisconsin's giving you a lot to look at, right? There's 5 guys up at the line. But there is definitely a lack of communication right now.
Blitz off the edge, and the pocket collapses. Andrew Van Ginkel gets the sack.
A lot of times when defenses put 5 guys up in the line of scrimmage, there's a reason. They get 5 guys across. Where's Van Ginkel? Find the matchup that you like. That's what Jim Leonhard wanted to do. I'm going to put 5 guys up in the line of scrimmage. I want to get Van Ginkel one-on-one with Navon Donaldson. That's the matchup I like, and you go win your one-on-one matchup. Nice design by Jim Leonhard, and great job by Van Ginkel of taking advantage of that matchup.
Nearly a blocked punt. Spicer gets it away, done. Scoots underneath the arms of a couple of tacklers and saves some field position for Wisconsin. In command midway through the 4th. This game has been dominated by Wisconsin. Their defense has taken the ball away. Their offense has owned the line of scrimmage and time of possession. Bob Wischusen here with Dan Orlovsky, Mike Golick Jr., Paul Carcaterra down on the sideline. And now it's a little past the midway point of the 4th quarter. And shockingly, Wisconsin's got the ball near midfield with good field position.
And they're in a tight formation, and they're probably going to run the football here.
They don't hide their intentions much, do they? Here's Taiwan Deal. And he's close to a 1st down and gets a little help from his friends. The pile's still moving. A rugby scrum for 14 yards.
Taiwan Deal, one of 4 backs in this backfield who average at least 6.3 yards a carry. And you see why here now, a chance late in the game with fresh legs to come in and try and really lean on these guys. And this is the wonderful part of the game. This is hog heaven. This is 4-minute offense. The clock might say 6:50, but you are trying to milk this for all it's worth if you're Wisconsin. And if you're the O-line, this is your chance to break people.
It's even reflected in Jonathan Taylor's numbers. Jonathan Taylor averages 7 yards per carry, 8.5 yards per carry in second halves, 9.5 yards per carry in 4th quarters and overtime. Well, what does that tell you? It tells you that that offensive line just wears you out at times, and that's 5 more right up the middle for Deal.
And I've kind of said this tonight about Wisconsin. The thing that I love about them the most is they know who they are. They're unafraid of their identity. They don't run from it, but they have found ways to get creative. It is old school ball with a new school kind of spready, motiony feel to it, that they get angles, they create leverage, and it allows their run game to dominate.
Are there any great running backs in the NFL these days that don't play a large role in the passing game?
It depends on the offense you go into, but it certainly has grown. That role has grown. The 3rd down back has become more of a 1st down back in the NFL. We don't know if he can't, though. It's just not their style.
Here's Taiwan Deal, about a yard shy of a 1st down.
I mean, you only have to look so far as his fellow Badger alumni in Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a guy who's featured prominently in a way a lot of these other guys are, split out in those formations. There's sometimes, but a lot of screens and such for him. but again, came from this same offense, and we see when you're allowed to, sometimes Dan's right, you just need the opportunity to show that's part of
and
your
listen, the NFL is always looking for guys that are big, fast, can run, break tackles, productive, great vision. I mean, the guy's a total package.
You can find a place for that, huh?
Someone's going to choose to pay him at some point.
Taiwan deal, first down. Let's go down to Carton.
You know, gentlemen, Melvin Gordon's junior year, his final year at Wisconsin, the knock on him from everyone who was evaluating him was, can he catch the ball? And Mike Golick Jr., you mentioned he's heavily involved in the screen game. Wisconsin might not use their running backs that way, but don't just chalk it up that they can't do it. Jonathan Taylor has morphed and changed every time he's had to play the sport of football. I mean, he came from a smaller school in New Jersey. A lot of people thought he couldn't even play at this level. He was recruited by Wisconsin, Rutgers, Harvard, Yale, but really an under-the-radar recruit. So just because it's not being done doesn't mean they can't do it. And these guys are great athletes that can morph and change.
Here's Chris James getting a push down to about the 22-yard line.
That was actually one of the points that offensive coordinator Joe Rudolph brought up to us. Was he was amazed at how seriously Jonathan Taylor takes improving during the season, taking care of his body, doing the extra things to try and improve and grow during the year, when most guys, especially in college, Dan, you know, are trying to just tread water or trying to stay at that level because you don't anticipate making gains. He's not satisfied with that.
And he's also a kid who had almost 300 carries this year. I mean, so you learn how to take care of your body, and you learn what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses. The good thing, Wisconsin's got a big-time NFL pipeline. He's going to have so many older guys coming back and helping him with that process.
Here's James, another first down. Before that carry, Wisconsin was at 311 yards rushing in this game. So add on about 8 more, they're up to 319 with a first down inside the 15-yard line.
And we've talked about it, right? We have heaped praise and worthy of it to this Miami defense. There's not a lot of teams that do that to Miami's defense. It is impressive to see in person how Wisconsin just owns the line of scrimmage.
I mean, the only Power 5 team that Wisconsin trails in rushing the football yards per game is triple option Georgia Tech. Like, that's the company that they're in.
Here's James again. This time brought down behind the line. It's a much different game than these two teams played last year in the Orange Bowl, a game that Wisconsin won 34-24, but was much more wide open. There were many more big plays in that game, and Miami was able to answer a lot of the offensive possessions Wisconsin had in that game, but just too many turnovers from Mark Richt's team today.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because you're going to walk away from this game, Wisconsin, feeling pretty good. Both offensively, you've got some guys back. Both defensively, got a bunch back. Jack Cohn had a nice night. And then for Miami, you're going to walk away going, what's happened, and where are we, and how do we answer the questions that surround us right now?
Jet sweep, Aaron Cruikshank dives inside the 5. And it's good for a first down. And if Wisconsin simply wanted to take a knee at this point, they could.
Well, Wisconsin being diversified with their formations again. The jet sweep to Cruikshank, get him on the perimeter, get Ben Shaw leading the blocker. And that's what they've done all night. It's been really impressive. They haven't gotten into a gajillion formations, but everything, they've got one formation, 3 plays out of it. Another formation, 4 plays out of it. And everything looks the same. That's the challenging part to the defense. They present themselves in multiple ways and have different variables that they can attach to it.
And when we talk about, you've referenced that these modern offenses in the NFL, that's the key, is making the complicated simple in actuality.
Taiwan deal. A push towards the end zone. No signal as of yet. And just shy of the end zone deal is stopped by the Canes. Fans, check out the ESPN app for the post-game trophy ceremony presented by Capital One. That is immediately following the game.
be a pretty cool moment for Jack Cohn. Kind of coming back home. Was he anticipating getting the start or not, with Alex Hornibrook being a little banged up? Nice performance by him, playing again against an awesome Miami defense.
And playing within himself. You talked about the springboard into the offseason. That's a great point to grow off of.
It looks like Deal may have found the end zone on this carry with 13 seconds to go. And it is a touchdown.
Kind of that old school wishbone formation, and just a straight cross block by those two wishbone guys to protect the edges, and then Beal with the finish.
Not something you see in college football. I have to admit, something I wish I would see more in college football. Take a hit. It's 28-3. There's 13 seconds to go in the game. You proved your point. You're at the 1-yard line. Victory formation. In the NFL, that's taking a knee.
My only caveat would be Deal's a fifth-year senior. Maybe you're trying to get him in the end zone, send him off the right way.
Now you're way too sentimental.
Christmas season.
Adds the point after. Wisconsin pouring it on with 8 seconds to go. It's time for a look at today's clutch delivery, brought to you by Chipotle, and it has been takeaways that have delivered the ball over and over again by the Wisconsin defense guys to their offense.
It started early on, first play of the game, and it's been the story of it all evening long. That secondary has been all over Miami. They've created some pressure, forced some bad decisions. It's been an impressive performance by this Wisconsin defense, and it's led by that guy, TJ Edwards, right? Send him off the right way. He's had a remarkable career. Send him off the right way this evening.
Absolutely. The Big Ten's active leader in career tackles, and a guy who we know could have maybe gone pro last year but decided to come back. Him and Ryan Connolly, who wasn't out there with him tonight, but Chris Orr, who they consider one of the starting three in that middle, both showed really well for themselves tonight. TJ's been a hell of a leader for this defense.
EJ Dallas on the return. Now to the 20-yard line. The clock goes to zeros. And Paul Christ's team, in convincing fashion, 35-3, champions of the new era Pinstripe Bowl. Let's go down to Paul.
Coach, Jonathan Taylor goes over 200 yards. Your offense rushes for over 300. Describe your run game tonight against a great Miami defense.
You're right. It's a heck of a defense, and I'm proud of the way our guys competed, and I thought we did a great job. Obviously, run the ball, but defensively, you know, the takeaways. This is a great team game, right? It takes everyone, and a lot of guys contributed, and I'm proud of that.
You look up at the scoreboard, 35-3. Your defense was amazing tonight. What allowed that unit really to click?
Well, I think they played together, and certainly did a good job stopping the run. They got two good, really, running backs, and then we were able to be opportunistic. And actually, we had a couple other opportunities of getting some, so they played good team defense. A lot, defensive staff put together a real good plan that our kids understood, and they went out and executed. They played.
5th straight bowl win for the Badgers. Congratulations.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
It looks like Paul Carcaterra is ready to anchor our trophy presentation down on the field. Carc?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this opportunity right now for our new era Pinstripe Bowl trophy presentation. Presenting the trophy to the 2018 New Era Pinstripe Bowl champions, the Wisconsin Badgers. Ladies and gentlemen, this is their 5th straight bowl victory. And presenting the trophy, Managing General Partner from the New York Yankees, Hal Steinbrenner. Alec Ingold, you got the muscles for this. Let's go. Give it a hoist. Coach, come on in. Alec Ingold, Jonathan Taylor, the big boys up front. They rushed for 333 yards against the Miami defense. That was one of the best in college football. Describe that offensive performance by your team tonight.
Well, it takes everyone, and I thought certainly we were great up front, and good plan, but guys executed it, and we got the best back in the country, and when he wasn't in, we had other backs come in and do it and take advantage. Our defense was unbelievable. Takeaways and pressures. Football's the greatest team sport, and took everyone on this team, and proud of what they did.
5 takeaways for the Badgers on defense. The running game was incredible. And we have to now hand out the MVP trophy. And presenting the most valuable player in the 2018 New Era Pinstripe Bowl is New Era's President and CEO, Chris Cook. Come on in, Chris.
All right. So, your 2018 New Era Pinstripe Bowl MVP with 1 touchdown, 205 yards, and over 2,000 yards this year, Jonathan Taylor.
And handing the MVP trophy to Jonathan Taylor is Hall of Famer Jim Kelly. Jonathan, come on up. You know, you get a lot of the credit with running for over 2,000 yards. You're the Doak Walker Trophy for the best running back in college football this year, but what's it like running behind those big boys?
It's something special. Those guys are always communicating with me, letting me know the looks that they see, and when we're communicating all on one page, stuff magical happens.
How would you describe this senior class, playing with them for your last time?
Oh, if you just look at the effort those guys give, I mean, especially the defense and offensive guys, they're laying out for blocks, they're laying out for tackles, and it kind of makes you look at your game and see how can I lay out even more for these guys.
Outstanding work, Jonathan. Congratulations to the New Era Pinstripe MVP, Jonathan Taylor. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, when Wisconsin is at their best, they do what they did tonight. They took the ball away on defense. They ran for 333 yards, and they win going away. 35-3 is your final. For Mike Golick Jr. and Dan Orlovsky and Paul Carcaterra, I'm Bob Wischusen. Thanks for watching. So long from the Bronx. It's time for Adnan Burke and Jesse Palmer. Let's head back to the studio. It's the College Football Scoreboard. Adnan?